and girls. Hi, families. Hi, Wilson Warrior Hawks. Pete's here. Pete says hi. I've been taking a break from our live times, and after today's announcement about school, I thought it would be a great time for us to enjoy some stories together. So, anyway, gather around, grab your stuffy, let's get cozy. We're going to vote on some books. I have a big stack of books because I could just read forever. I like that. I have this one. We're going to read this one tonight, Follow the Moon Home. I remember that was one of Ellie and Abigail's favorite in the classroom. I was thinking about the moon last night, and I thought that's a great one. We're also going to read this one, Steamboat School. Those are two for sure on the list. But I'm curious, Gabriel, are you watching? How about you, Atlas and Danica? Would you rather read Pete the Cat, I Love My White Shoes, or would you like to read The Little Mouse, the Red Ripe Strawberry, and the Big Hungry Bear? So with your grown-up with you, Gracie, if you want The Little Mouse, the Red Ripe Strawberry, and the Big Hungry Bear, put a strawberry in the comments, or bear. If you would like to read Pete the Cat, I Love My White Shoes, put a cat in the comments. Which one will you do it? And parents, please make sure you post your kiddos' names so I know that you're watching and I can say hi to you, because the screen's on the other side and I can't see. So, oh my goodness, let's get started. How about Polar Bear, what do you see? Haley, are you watching? Love this book. Polar Bear, written by Bill Martin Jr., and of course the pictures are by one of our favorite illustrators, Eric Carle. Polar Bear. I made a mistake. It's not Polar Bear, what do you see? It's Polar Bear, what do you hear? Goodness, we all make mistakes. Polar Bear, what do you hear? I hear a lion roaring in my ear. Roar! Can you roar like a lion, Taven? Lion, what do you hear? I hear a hippopotamus snorting in my ear. Hippopotamus, what do you hear? I hear a flamingo fluting in my ear. Remember the flamingo challenge? Stand on one foot. Emmanuel, Gracie, and Riley, we like to do that. Love this. There's the flamingo. Flamingo, what do you hear? I hear a zebra braying in my ear. Zebra, what do you hear? I hear a boa constrictor hissing in my ear. That was hard to read sideways, Avery. Here comes the boa constrictor. Boa constrictor, what do you hear? I hear an elephant trumpeting in my ear. Who remembers the sign for elephant? Elephant, what do you hear? I hear a leopard snarling in my ear. Can you snarl like a leopard? Snarl. Leopard, what do you hear? I hear a peacock yelping in my ear. Yelp! That's a great word, yelping. It's kind of like yelling, but not. Peacock, what do you hear? I hear a walrus bellowing in my ear. Bellowing means you're loud. Walruses can make lots of noise. Walrus, what do you hear? I hear a zookeeper whistling in my ear. Can you whistle? I wish I could hear you whistle right now. Zookeeper, what do you hear? I hear children. This is for you, children. Growling like a polar bear, roaring like a lion, snorting like a hippopotamus, fluting like a flamingo, braying like a zebra, hissing like a boa constrictor, trumpeting like an elephant, snarling like a leopard, yelping like a peacock, bellowing like a walrus. Look at all those children playing. Which animal do you want to pretend to be? Emmanuel, maybe a lion. Riley, an elephant. Gracie, the flamingo. Avery, the peacock. I think Mark would like the boa constrictor. Did you make your votes for whether you would like the little mouse, the red ripe strawberry, and the big hungry bear? Or would you rather read Pete the cat? Let me know. Make sure you go ahead and share and let your friends know that we're live tonight reading some stories. I'm in Mr. Haley's big rocking chair, rocking back and forth. I hope you're not getting seasick. How about 5 little bats flying in the night? It's nighttime. 5 little bats flying in the night. 5 little bats flying in the night. One flew away far out of sight. Takeaway 1 is the mother called the doctor and the doctor said, no more bats flying in the night. 4 little bats flying all around. 1 bumped his head on the cold, hard ground. The mother called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more bats flying all around. 3 little bats hanging upside down. Who likes to hang upside down? I used to when I was young. 1 fell off and began to frown. Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more bats hanging upside down. 2 little bats nibbling on a peach. Yummy peach. 1 got mad and began to screech. The mother called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more bats nibbling on a peach. 1 little bat flying near a lake. Flew so close to a hungry snake. Watch out, Emmanuel. The mother called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more bats flying near a lake. Now there's no little bats flying in the sky, no little bats flying way up high. Where did all the bats go? The mother called the doctor, and the doctor said, let those little bats fly, fly, fly. Little bats are meant to fly. There they go with the mama. Okay, any votes? Any clear winner? Pete's upside down. Of course, Pete the cat would be a clear winner. Can you read this one with me? Okay. I bet you can. Pete the cat, I love my white shoes. It's a little late tonight. Who went out and looked at the moon? Gracie, did you go look at the moon? Pete the cat, I love my white shoes. Pete was walking down the street in his brand new white shoes. Pete loved his white shoes so much he sang this song. You know how the song goes, right? I love my white shoes. I love my white shoes. I love my white shoes. What's gonna happen next? Oh no! Pete stepped in a large pile of strawberries. Oh, that is a big pile of strawberries. What color did it turn his shoes? Red. Rojo. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. He kept walking along and singing his song. Everything is cool. I love my red shoes. I love my red shoes. I love my red shoes. Oh no! Pete stepped in a large pile of blueberries. What color did it turn his shoes? We know that color, don't we? It's in the name. Blue, azul, blue. Did Pete cry? Goodness no, he kept walking along and singing his song. Are you ready to sing, Avery? I love my blue shoes. I love my blue shoes. I love my blue shoes. He has his blue umbrella. Oh no! Pete stepped in a large puddle of mud. What color did it turn his shoes? Brown. Cafe. Did Pete cry? Goodness no. He kept walking along and singing his song. Are you ready? I love my brown shoes. I love my brown shoes. I love my brown shoes. He's drinking coffee. Who likes to drink coffee? You know I do. Oh no, Pete stepped in a bucket of water. And all the brown and all the blue and all the red were washed away. What color were Pete's shoes? Were his shoes again? What color were his shoes again? White, blanco. But now they were wet. Did Pete cry? Goodness no. He kept walking along and singing his song. Rock and roll. Of course. I love my wet shoes. I love my wet shoes. I love my wet shoes. The moral of Pete's story is, no matter what you step in, keep walking along and singing your song. Look at all his colorful shoes. No matter what you step in, keep walking along and singing your song. But maybe clean your shoes before you go in the house. And then it's fun to see this picture because it's all good. I'm just thinking about a lot of things tonight. I'm thinking about how I feel about the news. I'm thinking about everything. And yesterday with the parade, I loved seeing all of you out there on the Wilson parade. And I'm sorry I cried a little, Avery and Gracie, when I saw you, and Natalie. I loved seeing you and your family, and Elijah and Atlas and Mallory and Danica and Taven and Abigail. It was just wonderful to see all the students out there. I think I even saw Oscar out there. So I'm thinking about a lot of things, and I wanted to read a very special story to you. This one is called The Secret Seder. This week is a special week for a lot of people, and this is based on a true story, The Secret Seder, by Doreen Rappaport and illustrated by Emily Arnold McCulley. This book might have a lot of words. I might have to flip back and forth. Depends on my eyes. The Secret Seder by Doreen Rappaport, illustrated by Emily Arnold McCulley. Okay. There's the boy, and this dedicated for Grandpa Sam and Madison and Olivia and Samara and Stella, Dr. There's a nice watercolor illustration. Okay. am walking as fast as I can. I have to get home and practice with Mama one last time. I want to run, but Papa says I must never run. It makes people stare. When I get to the cathedral, I slow down. People on either side of me are crossing themselves as a sign of respect. I cross myself too. It's dangerous not to. Everyone in the village thinks we're Catholics, but we're only pretending to be. We're really Jews. Making the sign of the cross. There's a war going on. Germany is trying to conquer all of Europe. Last year, Adolf Hitler's black boot men came to Paris and took the Jews away. Papa and Mama and I escaped in the dark of night. Grandma and Grandpa ran away too, but we don't know where they went. Every day I pray that they are safe. We got out of Paris, but we're still in danger. There are black boot men here too. Do we have time to practice, Mama? Mama has been teaching me the 4 questions so I can surprise Papa at the Seder. Yes, she answers and looks away. Ma nishta ha lacha hase mikol halayo. I whisper the Hebrew words. It's too dangerous to say them out loud. Mama says the walls have ears. Usually, Mama kisses Papa when he comes home from work. Today, she doesn't even look up. What's the matter, Papa asks. They took Mr. Leclerc and his wife and the son away today, she whispers. Mr. Leclerc? I didn't even know he was Jewish. Etienne, it's too dangerous to take Jacques to the Seder, Mama says. Papa takes Mama's hands in his. Just being Jew is dangerous, he answers. Mama, please, I plead. We promised Grandpa that we would celebrate all the holidays no matter what. Her eyes filled with tears. Papa wipes them away. We'll be all right, he whispers. Mama pulls me tight to her. She stuffs a roasted egg into my coat pocket. Papa slips a knife into his. Mamas always worry. We walk down our street. When we near Mr. Leclerc's house, I walk faster. Papa pulls me back. Walk naturally so we don't look suspicious, he whispers. My feet slow up, but my heart still races. We turn one corner, then another, then another. I hear clicking on the cobblestones behind us. Papa yanks me into an alley. The clicking is closer and louder. Papa pulls out the knife. I hold my breath. The clicking fades away, but my ears still ring. There's the clicking. At the edge of the village, we start up the mountain. The thick pines along the path block out the light, but I am not afraid of the darkness, only of the black boot men. Up, up we climb. The only sound is the wind. Up, up. Suddenly, I hear rustling in the forest. I stop and listen more carefully. The rustling is still there. Is someone following us? Papa seems to read my mind. It's probably a rabbit, he says. I hope he is right. We trudge on. Something snaps at my chest. I jump. So does my heart. It's only a branch of a small bush, Papa says, but I still feel scared. Finally, we reach the top of the mountain. 2 men are chopping wood near a shack. Papa walks over to them. How does he know they are friends? He whispers to them, and they open the door of the shack. It is cold and damp inside. Strange faces are crowded around a small table. No one says hello. No one even looks at us. Some men have their coat collars up over their heads. They sway and pray in Hebrew. I put Mama's roasted egg on the table. The Seder table looks so empty. There is only a glowing candle, a bottle of wine, 2 cups, and 1 piece of matzah. I close my eyes and see Grandma's Seder table last year, with the fancy lace cloth and silver so shiny I saw my face in it. I see her beautiful Seder plate with all the foods. I feel Grandpa tickling me before he lit the candles. I want them here. Sometimes we remember how things were in the past. It's nice to have those memories. Papa pulls his coat collar up over his head and takes me under. We sway as he chants. His chanting turns to gasping, then to sobbing. I hear other men sobbing too. I hug Papa's leg. Papa, please don't cry. Cher ami. Let's come together now, someone says. That's French for dear friend, cher ami. We come out from the coat. An old man with dark circles under his eyes pours the first of 4 cups of wine. This is a dark time for our people, the old man says. We are separated from our families and live in secret as Jews. Our Seder table is almost empty, but still we may renew our spirit as we celebrate Passover, when God delivered our people to freedom. He says a blessing in Hebrew. He drinks some wine, then passes the cup around. Papa lets me sip some. It tingles on my tongue. We have no bitter herbs to dip in salted water, says the old man. We do not need bitter herbs, says a deep voice. Our lives are bitter enough. No one speaks for a few minutes. The old man reads from ragged sheets of paper. It was spring when the Passover took place. Our ancestors were slaves in Egypt. Remember their tears when they were slaves, and remember the tears of all who are not free today. The old man continues. We have only 1 piece of matzah instead of the traditional 3 pieces. He puts half in his pocket and winks at me. Grandpa winked at me before he hid the matzah too. Seder leaders always hide a piece of matzah and the children steal it back. After the meal, the leader has to find it or pay a ransom. It's like a game. I am the only child here, so I must play the game. I slip my hand into his pocket and take out the matzah. He pretends not to see me. Haklami achmatai haklau. He holds up the other half of the matzah. This is the bread of affliction. When our ancestors fled Egypt, they took bread that was sun baking on the rocks with them. It had not yet risen. He sips more wine, then looks toward me. He doesn't know the 4 questions yet, Papa says. I do know them, Papa, I say proudly. I practiced with Mama. Papa's eyes widen in surprise and happiness. Okay, I'm going to try and say this right. Ma nitsa ha zeka mikol ha leifla. Why is this night different from all other nights, I chant? Shebokcho ha leho hanu otim chametz umatza. Because on all other nights we eat bread or matzah. On this night we eat only matzah. A second reason tonight is different is, the deep voice interrupts me. I think tonight is different because tonight all over Europe Jews are being murdered. It is not much different from when Pharaoh worked our people to death, Papa says. It is not much different from when our people were expelled from Spain and Portugal, says another man. It is different, insists the deep voice, for hundreds are being murdered every day, and thousands more will be murdered if Hitler is not stopped. Again, there is silence. Then the old man nods at me, and I finish the questions. Good work, my son, he says. Papa hugs me. The old man tells our people's history, starting from Abraham's time. He is a good storyteller like Grandpapa. Suddenly, the door burst open. I grab for Papa's hand and squeeze my eyes shut, afraid to see who it is. It's all right, Papa whisper. It's only one of the men who was chopping wood. He was keeping watch outside. Now he's come to hear part of the Seder. The old man continues. The Haggadah says that a long time ago, 5 learned rabbis sat around a Seder table as we do now. They told and retold the story of our people's flight from Egypt into the Holy Land, searching for its meaning. He lowers his voice. It was dangerous for them to do this, for they were forbidden to study or teach their religion. It is dangerous for us to do this too, I say. I am surprised at my voice. He finishes the story of Passover. Pharaoh was so cruel to our people that they cried out to God for help. God sent Moses to tell Pharaoh to free them. Pharaoh refused. Then God brought 10 plagues upon the Egyptians so Pharaoh would see his power and determination to help the Israelites. He dips my pinky into the cup of wine. Blood spilling over Egypt, frogs spilling out over the waters in Egypt, lice. Every time he names one of the plagues, I dip my pinky into the wine and put a droplet of it on the table. His voice quivers when he gets to the 10th and final plague. And God told Pharaoh he would kill all firstborn sons in Egypt, including the animals. He told the Hebrews to wipe the blood of a slaughtered lamb over their doorposts so that he would know to pass over their houses. And when the firstborn were slain, Pharaoh finally freed the Israelites. Why doesn't he free us? Someone moans, then disappears under his coat. Tonight we are free, Papa says. We are free inside ourselves, for by celebrating Pesach, we defy orders not to practice our religion. It's wonderful to be in America where we can practice whatever we believe. There is another prayer, then more wine, then more prayer, then we sing, Data Chaynu, Data Chaynu, Data Chaynu. We do not sing out loud, we whisper sing. We move our hands in rhythm to the words. We sway our bodies back and forth. Everyone is smiling, even the man with the deep voice. I feel happy to be here, happy that we are all together. Remember God's promise to guide and protect our ancestors and their descendants, says the old man. He points to the matzah. Remember that our people left Egypt so quickly that the bread sun baking on the rocks had no time to rise. He talks about the missing ceremonial foods, and I can see them on the table. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim melech halo hamatzai lechem mein hana. In this ugly time, it is easy to lose faith, he says. Let us eat this matzah for strength. We pass it around until there are only crumbs left. In normal times, he says, we would now sit down and eat a big meal with our families. He pauses, usually too big. I see Grandpa dipping his spoon into Grandma's chicken soup and scooping up part of a matzah ball. But tonight we can't. The old man stammers, his hands tremble. The ragged papers in his hands drop to the floor. His whole body is shaking now. He looks like he is going to faint. I take the matzah out from my pocket and I put it in his hands. He nods his thanks and pats my head. There he is, sharing the matzah. The fourth cup of wine is poured, and a cup for the prophet Elijah. The old man calls out to God, pour your wrath upon the nations that do not recognize you. I open the door for Elijah. A cold blast of wind sweeps through the cabin. No one speaks as we listen to the wind. The deep voice breaks the silence. Next year, in Jerusalem, we shall come together for a great feast, he says. Next year, in Jerusalem, we whisper these beautiful words and hug each other goodbye. The wind wisps around us as we go our separate ways. I take Papa's hand and we begin our walk down the mountain. Okay, there is an author's note about this book. From 1939 to 1945, more than 6 million Jews and 3 million other Europeans considered undesirable by Germany's leader Adolf Hitler were murdered or died of starvation and disease in work camps and concentration camps. So this is a fictional story but based on historical events, and many people throughout history have had to hide their faith for a time because the laws and the people weren't accepting of them. And I'm so thankful that now in this time we don't have to hide what we believe, and we are all free to believe whatever we believe and celebrate it. Please enjoy your families. Thank you for joining me tonight. I know it was a long story, and I just appreciate it. Friends and families and students, obviously Class Dojo, and I'll be catching up with you. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.